Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.
Welcome back to another episode of the DGAF podcast. Thank God it's footy. Sitting there with Dog for all of you. Apologies.
Covered in dog
for
for
Ace.
We've finally got ourselves a cameraman. He's looking a little bit tired at the moment, but
He's
Ace,
slacking on the job, but
he's out. He didn't want to go to bed, so he's fallen asleep out here in the lounge with us, and he's just making sure that the cameras are still rolling. Welcome Ace, first official. I don't want to say appearance just yet, but yeah, first helper on the potty. So good on you, mate. But yeah, not really the type of shorts you wear for a dog. You know, the old.
They're too sticky.
Yeah, I don't want to. What would you call it? I don't know what the material is as such, but it's not my usual go-to Nike shorts. You know,
Usually rocking the sport shorts rather than the tracky shorts.
We're getting a little bit chilly. I had a later swim today, so possibly getting changed. It was like, yeah, we're gonna get something on a little bit warmer. But yeah, a little bit of dog fur, but that's right, mate. He's no bites for me, which is quite nice. Bites Lana, but I'm trying to avoid the start of that. A couple of licks on the knee, a couple of scratches, but no biting for me.
I think those scratches are just pure accident.
Pure excitement. He was excited to see me today. I got a big hello at the door. And he sat without me even having to say sit, so that was laid down without me having to say down. So quite nice to see that he listens to me a little bit more than he listens to you two, which is good. So it must be something in the voice. I don't know what it is, but plenty of sport on over the weekend. Unfortunately, my Tigers unable to battle out the whole 80 minutes. It looked like we were going to pull it up close to the stages. Whereas your Dragons came on with a very, very tasty win Friday night there. But plenty of footy that took place over the weekend, plenty of very, very good games, and a couple of blokes had a few screamers that made it into the team of the week this week. So we started off with Reece Walsh at fullback.
Yeah, we managed to come back at you with 13 players that had themselves good games rather than
Not
just the
player
one.
of the week.
But Reece Walsh, hell of a performance there for the Bronx, helping them dismantle the Raiders with relative ease there. It was a bit of a shock in that one. But
yeah, was a really, really big win there for Brisbane, and yeah, had himself a game there, Reece, so he's taken the fullback jersey. Joined in on the wings there, I want to say possible debutants of this season. It's their first appearance this season, I believe. Jacob Carraz and Bostock there on the other wing. Now Carraz obviously playing a part in that. Again, maybe a bit of a shock win, that huge win there that the Doggies had up against the Knights. Kind of just a really big 20 minutes that they had there where they kind of just peppered the Knights' defence. And then Bostock, who I believe the leading try scorer or second leading, or maybe like equal. He's up there, a couple of Dragons up there.
Zachy Lomax and Tyrell Sloan up there.
Both at one stage in their game on Friday were the two top scorers.
Yeah.
And then I think possibly after Bostock scored.
Bostock might have drawn level with
I feel like someone's on 8 and there's 3 on 7. If my memory serves me right. In our old try scorers. But yeah, two very outstanding games there.
Taruva's up there.
I think Taruva's one of the other players. But those are your wingers, and joined there by last week's player of the round, Zachy Lomax, paired up in the centres there with Selwyn Cobbo.
Yep, 2 young throbbers there. Well, I suppose Zach Lomax isn't exactly what you'd call a spring chicken anymore in terms of NRL terms, but finding his peak this year. Didn't matter that he wasn't on the wing, still turned out a hell of a performance for the Dragons there, and Selwyn Cobbo as well, really taken to that centre spot so far this year with hell of an effort there up against the Raiders.
Yep, could have got himself 2, which would have helped my bet out a little bit there. Big O from 8 there for me last week, and I thought once he got his first, he might cross over for a second. But wasn't to be. Halves pairing for this week, Matty Burton and Nico Hines. Now, Hines played a blinder, especially in that first half there, and that huge dominating one there that the Sharkies had. And Matty Burton again as well, another huge sort of upsetting win there. His name was written all over it.
Yeah, a lot of talk around Matty Burton potentially shifting back out to the centres, but last few weeks he's gone real well at 6.
Yeah, looking the part.
Looking the part there in the halves for the doggies. And Nico Hines, we know what that bastard can do. He's been doing it for a couple of years now, and just another stock standard performance from him, really dominating, steering those Sharkies around well with the little bit of his own brilliance chucked in there as well. If only he could have crossed the line for one of my multis there, but not to be. Running out the backs in good style, Hines and Burton. A lot of talk around maybe not Matty Burton, but whether or not Nico Hines is in line for that number 6 New South Wales jersey or not. Matty Burton definitely on the smoky side of things there.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of names that are being thrown around at this stage of the season. But obviously we have to wait till about June, I'm sure, until we'll find out.
I think it's about six more weeks until the first game.
We're nearly in May, so it's going to creep up on us, no doubt. That's your backline. Joining them in the team, the big forward pack. We've gone for the 2 props of Jensen and Fisher Harris. The latter, they're dotting down for a meaty couple of days after announcing the big move.
Yeah, good on him. Big Fisher Harris, $8 anytime try scorer. Thank you very much. But yeah, big move for the bloke, and had himself a good game. Capped
Played
off
well.
that meaty.
Played very, very well when he came back on for his second stint.
Just
We lost all of our momentum that we had, and then dotted himself over for a try. And you're right, you did him anytime try scorer. That's right. So it's a nice looking bet to get yourself involved with. We explained
a bit more on
it. We explained it. It was one of those ones you had a reason to do it, and it came off. So it's what you like to see. And then Jensen taking the other propping spot this week.
Potentially. A first appearance of all time for him in the TGIF.
Could very well be
through the archives.
Could very well be a
debut. That's my gut feeling.
I think you are possibly right. We'd have to have a look, as you said. But those are your 2 props. Joining in there, in between them, we've gone for another little double barrel, and that's JMK, Jeremy Marshall King, running it up there for the Dolphins.
Yeah, you speak about a 20 minutes of sort of dominance there from Kiraz and his doggies, but Marshall King in that sort of 15-20 minute spell where the Dolphins blew the Parramatta Eels off the park, he was immense. Yeah, a little bit of an under the radar sort of dude, eh?
I think with
he goes pretty well.
The number of other hookers that you've got in the game that are your big game players, he probably does go under the radar a little bit. But no, he had himself a blinder, I thought there. And you're right, it was that small period of the game where they sort of just put the game to bed. Joining them there in the forward pack, your 2 second rows, Olakau'atu and Katoa. Now Olakau'atu seems to be there or thereabouts every week. Possibly one of the most informed players, I'd say, in the NRL at the moment.
He's a scary prospect, really.
Unreal.
You say it time after time. You love a back row that can do a bit of anything, and he certainly fits the bill, fits the category of that.
100%. Played a blinder there on the weekend, and
could have had a double, had a second try rolled out late there.
Could have had himself a double, which would have been good for the big fella. And Katoa also done down for a meaty there in that win for the Storm.
Yep. I believe, was it not the game winner, or maybe
Second
it
or
was Coates?
third try, I think.
Second, I think it
scored,
might have
possibly.
been Coates. I think with another game winner.
But another player seems to get himself on the scorer's sheet quite often. Katoa there. Rounding out that team, the big boy in the locking jersey. A lot of seeing a lot of memes about him being people's new favourite player. Max Plath from the Dolphins.
Yeah. Is it Plath or the Plath?
I'd go Plath.
But what a performance from the bloke.
Were they same place?
I believe so.
They were same place. See, I just look at it and kind of I'm reading that as a Plath. I guess that's possibly the way I look at it.
I guess it's like place for the lisp.
Yeah, a little bit of Mike Tyson involved in that. I'd say Mike Tyson would be a fan of Place.
Yeah. Couple of tries for him.
Was it a double in the end?
Yeah, I think so. I believe so. This one was ruled out, but yeah, definitely he was front and centre of that carnage for the Dolphins there. I think his old man might have played in the NRL back in the day, possibly. Maybe not NRL, but
the ARL.
NSWRL or something.
Whatever it was.
But
a few people talking about him being their new favourite player. Just based off what a bloke he seemed to be. What's that? 6 games, 3 tries.
Son of former Broncos player John Plath.
Plath?
149 games for the
Jesus.
Broncos in the 90s, so sort of before our time.
Good on the bloke.
Yeah. So his old man played
for the crosstown rivals, but he's taken the Finns by storm on his return from that hip drop ban.
Yep.
Potentially as well. Yeah.
Yep.
So
and he has his
hell of a way to mark your return from a little ban there. I'm sure Wayne will be pretty stoked with that.
Seems like a player though. Seems like a hearty fella.
Seems like a bloke that he's going to win a lot of hearts. The way he plays.
Well,
you're already saying he's a lot of people's favourite player. I can't see it being too long before that number racks up a little bit higher, but yeah, he rounds out the team of the week. Good looking team as always, not just with the one double barrel this week, but 2, which is always good.
Yeah.
The double.
Going on, trying to follow the way of the Warriors, I guess, with the amount of double barrels that they've got. We've gone for 2, so just in case one fails, I guess.
Yeah, can never go wrong with 2 double barrels in their lineup, according to recent statistics anyway. But we'll have a look at what's coming up, and we're coming at you with a triple header.
I didn't realise. I just realised just
for Thursday. It's obviously Anzac Day. We'll pay our respects in the morning, I suppose, with a few parades around the country, dawn parades, that sort of
Don't know
stuff.
if I've ever rocked a dawn parade. I have to
Don't
say,
know if I'll be showing up.
something you need to do. I think at some stage in your life as a Kiwi, but I'm a poppy wearer. We probably should be rocking a poppy today. In the lead up to Anzac, I've seen them out and about. Always, quite often, I'll donate your couple of dollars and then say, I don't need a poppy, it's alright, because I've got a little, I don't know what you'd call it, a container, I guess you probably can call it, with a couple of knickknacks, bits and bobs that sit on your side dresser.
Couple of poppies in there.
Got a pink breast cancer ribbon.
Yeah.
I've got a poppy. I've got a daffodil, I think, a daffodil day one,
yeah.
and I've got a little purple epilepsy ribbon.
Okay.
So that way you're prepped, you're good to go always, locked and loaded. But yes, it's a triple header this Thursday, and we kick off. We didn't talk about it on the radio this morning actually. That should happen like this every year with it being Anzac Day. There should be a game in New Zealand, and we get to kick it off over here at Mount Smart with the Warriors taking on the Titans.
Yeah, the Warriors have been over there in Melbourne the last number of years. Can't remember how long that stretched back, but obviously we are 2 of those 5 letters involved there. So good to see the Warriors get a home game in this one, get to showcase our shores on this Anzac weekend up against the Gold Coast Titans side, who, they just can't buy a trick at the moment. Both teams conceding in the 30s last week. The Warriors
Poor defence.
30-12 up against the Dragons. They were uncharacteristically poor, I thought, the Warriors. And then Gold Coast, as I said, can't buy a trick. They managed to score 30, but they conceded 34 in the Des Derby there. So they fell agonisingly short of their first win there. So
I definitely think they shocked a few in that one there. I didn't think it was going to be as close as it was. And it was, I think, 7 lead changes throughout the game. They're very back and forth. But 2 teams who, over the last, the Titans obviously not had the best of seasons, but the last few weeks shipping a few points. Very unusual performance, I think, from the Warriors. It wasn't what you're used to seeing from them. Obviously, credit to the Dragons, they played very well, but the Warriors also had a bit of a stinker. So, possibly a good team to be coming up against the Titans, but also maybe a bit of a dark horse. You had a shocker one week and you go out against a team who maybe they're probably feeling pretty hard done by, I'd say, after coming up so close. It tees up to be a very good game at Mount Smart on a Thursday. 4 o'clock kickoff, so maybe a little bit quiet to start off, maybe a few people piling in, a little bit after kickoff, maybe finishing, running late from work, things like that, Auckland traffic on
work.
Some people might be working on the Thursday, you know what I mean?
Public holiday.
There's certain things that you've got to still have to be running,
I suppose so.
All your gas station workers. Retailers closed. Maybe your dairy owners.
Can't things all open at 1 o'clock?
Everything can open at 1, can it?
I'm pretty sure.
So basically everyone else then really could be working a quick 3-hour shift at 1 and then going, see you later boss, I'm off to the Waz,
Time and a half ends up being 4.5 basically.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe not as slightly empty as I didn't really think that one through there, did I? But there'll be people at work. There'll be all the
people working.
All the staff at Mount Smart.
They'll be working.
Yep, they'll be working. But it's something a little bit different. 3 games for you Thursday, kicking it off at here in New Zealand, not Mount Smart. Go Media Mount Smart.
2 teams looking for that bounce back factor.
2 teams looking for that bounce back.
I suppose with the Gold Coast, every loss you do have takes you closer to the next win.
Yep.
But look, it's
rough as well. If the Bunnies getting the free 2 points for them last week as well, so it stretches that out a little bit more, that gap.
It's hard to see the Warriors not coming away with a win. And this one, the way Gold Coast have been going, but they nearly shocked Manly last week, so who's to say they can't go out there and shock the Waz this week? But I'd find it very hard to back the Titans over this one, I reckon.
I'm going Waz, and it's actually my biggest bet of the round. That's one of my highest odds here. I'm going Waz for a big win, 13 plus. AKP. Not AFK, AKP. Camperera to dot down for the Titans, he loves a try. Another double barrel, AFB, and Rocco Berry, they're my 3 try scorers getting involved in there throughout the game. $33.18. That's
really good value there. 3 try scorers, 13 plus. It's a lot going on. But I like that you've gone for 2 double barrels to cross the line, and 2 double barrels that do certainly love a meaty, those 2. I've just gone a little bit more simple. I've also got AKP, aka LKP, aka AFK involved, into a Warriors 1-12 win. $5.79 that's going to bring you in if you think the Titans can potentially bring something to keep the game close.
Yep, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. A couple of double barrels in there, same as me. I like it.
Just the one for me. Just the AKA involved.
It is that I kind of just as you're reading it, I'm looking at it going, you are right. The AKA. Still like it though. Still like it. Nice easy bet.
Just two simple legs, you know. Man loves a try and a Warriors 1 to 12.
Yeah. Maybe that's where you've thrown me, the old LKP compared to AKP.
Yeah, I suppose I went for the
I
nickname.
went for the Loffy. So maybe that's where I've been thrown slightly there. But a couple of Warriors wins there for us on Thursday will do us well. That'll roll us into a little bit of Dragons Roosters now, 6 o'clock kickoff. I believe we're going to be getting in a little bit of Anzac afternoon golf, and you've got a dinner appointment. So rough timing this time around. It's a public holiday, but you're rolling into a Friday. You can come home, you can chuck it on delayed. You go to bed that little bit later on a Thursday night. Not really too many dramas there, especially after an afternoon tea time, which hopefully involves a little bit of a sleep in.
1 o'clock shotgun start.
Yep.
Looking forward to it.
So, but it is the second game for the round. Dragons up against the Roosters. Obviously, we've spoken a little bit about it already, about the Dragons absolutely pumping the Warriors. I did say the Warriors had a bit of a shocker, but credit has to be given where credit is due, and the Dragons definitely deserve that. They bloody love to play at WIN Stadium. They play very, very well there, and yeah, a bit of a shock one, this one.
Yeah, it was interesting. I thought the Warriors, the way they started the game, they were going to come out and it was going to be similar to what we saw last year, where they got a decent win over us there down in the Gong, but held in, hung in there. The Warriors only managed the one try there in the first 20, and then after that, Zach Lomax really came alive, and what a game he had. Benny Hunt, I thought as well, was playing pretty well.
Played very, very well. Yeah.
Carl Flanagan sort of takes a little bit of the pressure off him to steer the side around, which is good. And yeah, our forward pack really ripped in, which was good to see. Really getting over the top of the likes of...
yeah, we're just sort of quietening that pack, which you're not really used to seeing. You're used to seeing that Warriors pack sort of go out there and do all the hard yards, so that you can see the likes of Sean Johnson rip up, as we know he can. So yeah, a little bit of a weird one. Wasn't really how I expected that game to go, but you can see your Dragons coming away with a bit of a blowout there. And the Chooks, on the other hand, on the other side of the equation, coming away with a loss there up against Melbourne. Again, I think I had the Roosters to win this one.
I think we both had Roosters 1 to 12 into Manu.
No, because I feel like you had something slightly different.
No, I think it was the same. That was
the exact same one, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But yeah, the Chooks, it's a bit of a buzzy one. They started off the season looking really, really good. Haven't picked up the results that we probably expected them to in the last few rounds off the back of that. Another loss there up against the Storm. I think, I guess they played well, but also definitely not at the best that we've seen Melbourne over the years. So yeah, it's a hard one for the Chooks to take at home as well. 18-12 loss. But this one, it doesn't... I mean, certainly in recent years it's been the Roosters coming in good form and the Dragons not so good form, but one of those games where form doesn't really tend to matter. Anzac Day, Dragons, Roosters always tends to be a big occasion.
It's a big occasion, 100%.
It's the traditional Anzac Day game. It always seems to be a close one, a field goal. a last gasp try we saw for both teams last year, which was a crazy one. The Roosters going ahead on about 78 minutes.
And then
the Dragons scoring with the last play of the game.
Right at the end, that's right. I do remember that one.
Which was a crazy game. This time we're up at the Allianz Stadium, which is the Roosters ground.
Yeah,
so
it's the
home game at the
yeah.
Roosters ground, which is a bit of a...
You've lost out a little bit there.
It's like getting that game against Brisbane home for Magic Round. Didn't you have that last year?
I think
or the year before?
that was us, yeah. So that's always
it's a bit of a rip-off, but Anzac Day footy, you gotta love it. It's a public holiday. Unfortunately, it doesn't fall on a Friday, but yeah, at least it's only one day on the other side of it.
You like it regardless. Based off what you've just told me, I think your bet's null and void already. Sitting there, Dragons 13 plus.
Yeah, gotta stick with that.
I think we're gonna have to null and void it already. It's not gonna.
I might have to start coming up with 2 bets
if
for
it's
the
going to
Dragons
be
game.
if it's going to be a closer game. I have gone for that close result, but I am backing the Roosters to bounce back this week. Gone Roosters 1-12 into the man of the moment. Zachy Lomax the dot over $8.57. So slightly 2 different edges of the coin there.
I'm going to say I like it, but Zach Lomax
in there,
I'm
continuous form. I did check as well. It was Mulatalo and Turuva sitting there on 8 with Sloan and
Bostock.
No, Bostock had 6, I think it was.
Lomax.
Sloan and Lomax both sitting there on 7.
Lomax has 6, I think.
Yeah, no, sorry. Lomax does have 6. I didn't read that properly at all. Mulatalo and Turuva both with 8. Sloan and Bostock with 7, and then Walsh and Lomax with 6.
Yeah.
But Walsh, there's 6 in 5 games.
Not bad effort.
Slightly with a strike rate there. That takes you into your 3rd game of your Thursday. Three games on a Thursday. Pretty good to get your teeth into. Melbourne up against the Bunnies now. Obviously, we said before, Melbourne usually taking on the Warriors in this clash here, but they're taking on a fresh Bunnies team coming off the back of a bye. And they also got the 2 points, obviously, as we just said, the Roosters losing. So 2 teams who added a little bit more to their position on the table there last week, but it's going to be a bloody tough one here for the Bunnies, I think.
Yeah, there's similar to the Titans, but I guess slightly better just because they've got those big names on paper that you know can turn it around. But Souths have had an absolute shocker of a season so far. Really hard to see them going down to Melbourne and turning it around. But I suppose they've had the extra week to work on it. There were probably a few signs in their last game out against Cronulla. They certainly hung in there, and a number of players out injured and suspended. But really hard for me to see them doing too much in this game. But I suppose Anzac Day footy always throws up a few surprises.
Always.
You know, someone might have it. Jackie Whiten might have it in him, big Anzac Day.
You got a bit of fire in the belly on a day like Anzac Day, there's no doubt about it. The Bunnies also met up with Sean and Marley, the 2 fellas with the cooking show there the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously Marley being the big South fan, Sean, however, rocking the Penrith jersey, but
rocking the Penrith
didn't
jersey
rock the Penrith jersey to meet the South boys. And Marley, big fan of Jackie White, and so maybe that has he's maybe rubbed off a little bit of luck on him there. But they're going to need all they can, I think, up against this Melbourne team.
They're not playing their best, but they're picking up the win.
They're playing a hell of a lot better than the Bunnies are. It's in there, second behind the
Sharkies on difference, potentially.
Ooh, now I say that, I feel like we might be slightly off there. Or is it Sharkies and then Melbourne?
Yeah, it is Sharkies and Melbourne, and it's a big difference.
Big difference there.
On points. But
Go the Tigers, the only team to beat the Sharks, and we absolutely pumped them. So,
Jurgen's out of the 8 on difference.
still close though. Still plenty of footy to be played. But I do think they're going to have their work cut out for them this week. The Bunnies. I didn't see much value in backing Melbourne in this one, so I've just
Definitely not a lot on the line.
chucked a couple of try scorers in there. We're going to go Harry Grant, get himself a little try close to the line. We're going to go Katoa to continue his scoring form, and then we've chucked Pap in there as well. $17.25 for 3 try scorers.
3 throws at the dartboard,
Yep.
I suppose you'd say. Not bad at all. Yeah, as you said, not too much value on Melbourne there. Melbourne 13 plus, so I parcelled in Jerome Hughes. Potentially my safe bet of the round. I think I've got another one that's not as juicy, not very juicy as well, but $4.51. Hoping to bank it, and then I can
Nice.
have a few risks
Yeah,
later
it's
on.
a nice little safe one. There's nothing wrong with that. That's your Anzac Day footy done and dusted. That's your 3 games for your Thursday. It leaves us with the sole Friday night game, the late one, 10 o'clock kickoff for us Kiwis here. And that is Manly up against the Eels. Now, Manly getting lucky there, maybe you could say. 7 lead changes. Probably you don't really want to be I guess the only positive is that it was the Titans. You can concede 30 and then you can go out there and score 1 try more, score 34. But you concede 30 against anyone else, you're probably going to lose, I would say. So Manly maybe a little bit lucky, and Para looking very, very out of sorts. Huge loss there up against the Finns. I'm sure they'll be looking to bounce back up against this Manly team.
Yeah, 2 teams, obviously Manly with the win, but definitely not playing at their best last week, and it's a bit of a rivalry of Manly Para, so should bring out the best of both of them. I think based on the fact that Mitch Moses is out, Parramatta obviously struggling.
Did they name Gutho in the halves this week? Apparently that was the news.
In the halves.
Apparently his legs are a bit fucked.
Just go. Over there.
Sitting there in 14th Parramatta, so it's
There he is.
he's playing fullback.
Ethan Sanders and Dylan Brown. Okay.
Sanders comes in, but yeah, look, I think
they're fucked without Moses, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I don't see them picking up too many wins against the likes of Manly out at Brookie on a Friday night without Mitchell Moses and his kicking game and just what he brings to that side in general. We saw it up against the Finns, who had a number of their top line stars out with injury. A bit of a shellacking in the end, really. 44-16. It was an ugly 15-20 minute sort of period. I think it was like 7 tries in the second half.
Yeah, it was just a bit of a blowout there. Eels sort of fell apart. Dolphins just ran away with it.
Darwin, it was just
I thought
ruthless.
they were going to be screwed, missing Flegler and Hammer. Completely made me eat my words sitting there watching that game. I thought they played really well with that. Try Fuller. Am I correct in saying that from the Finns?
Their fullback.
Yeah, absolutely ripped up.
It was
Para, I
really
thought. So they'll be wanting to defend a little bit more, I'd say, in this one here, Para. They'll be hoping that they don't go out there and ship 44 to Manly. But I think they will. They're going to have their work cut out for them in this one here. We've both gone fairly similar in this one, and I see now, I actually don't have any odds for you there, but I've gone Manly 1-12, and I've chucked Jason Saab and Ola Kawadu in there to get themselves a meaty. Now, I don't think it's a boosted one. I think the only boosted one was the first game, and I made sure to check that. Manly 1-12, Saab and Olakau'atu. It's paying $15.98. I'm also looking there, and I've screwed up my next bet too. So we're just going to keep that there. $15.98. Manly 1-12, Saab and Olakau'atu to get over the trial. They both scored last week, so they can go out there and do it again up against Para.
Very, very good value there, actually. I've gone for Manly 13+. Olakau'atu as well. And Trbojevic Tom, anytime try scorers there. The two of them, $7.43, so not bringing you in as much, but yeah, I guess most of the punters are with me. They're thinking it's going to be a big Manly win here.
I think that's the case possibly there. But that's your Friday night footy. It leaves us with, I'm saying, 2 Saturday games.
Yep.
We kick it off 5 o'clock. Oh, am I right there?
7:30.
Is it 7:30 and 9:30? Is it?
Yep.
7:30. We kick it off. Tigers up against the Broncos. My Tigs looking to bounce back from that unfortunate 22-6 loss there to Penrith last week. 12-6 for a lot of that game. First 20 minutes of that second half, I thought we dominated Penrith. Seeing a lot of people talk about the refs in this one, saying that young Schneider there should have been sin-binned.
Yeah, 100%.
However, in the lead up to our try, we'd taken out Schneider as it was. So really, they could have brought it back. There was something, I don't know if it was maybe 2 minutes before that, maybe, I don't know when it was, but Caesar took out Schneider after a kick, and they probably should have got a penalty.
Yeah, I suppose.
And I'm pretty sure it was in the lead up to us then getting the ball for us to make that break.
He sort of went at the legs, didn't he, Caesar? Not really. It's just like,
it was a bit rash. We've seen penalties get into
I find it hard, but obviously I haven't had my leg taken out after I've been kicked. So after I've kicked the ball, so I guess it looks bad in slow motion, those ones.
Yeah.
The sort of Aiden, Caesar and Schneider. But yeah, definitely a big moment, the decision not to sin-bin. Young Schneider, as he ankle tapped Justin Olam there. Big turning point in the game as well, probably when the pass just goes out instead of into Staines' hand, because he would have strolled over for it.
Would have been a nice,
10-0.
Would have been a big lead to start off with, and it could have been, I don't want to say game over, but you're well on your way by that stage.
There's no way, considering they came back from 20-odd points down in the grand final.
Exactly.
But
you're well on your way. You're well on your way by that stage, though.
No Nathan Cleary, so yeah, well on your way, and yeah, I guess not to be. Penrith showing their class in the end. A few nice tries from them. Just a few moments from the Tigers as well, which I guess shows. It is still early days, still working at it, but it's going to be another tough test this week up against the Brisbane side, who might have started the year shaky, but last couple of weeks they've come into a bit of form, particularly when you get Reece Walsh back in the side, running riot as he did, Selwyn Cobbo, the likes of them.
Reno's still out?
Reno's playing, Ezra Mam is out, and Cobbo are out for this game here. So I believe they're your two that are missing. Reynolds is back in, and I think it's and that's what I was just about to get to, but I was going to say Jockey Madden partner Reynolds there, but yeah, Payne Haas back into the starting lineup. So I got to say I'm quite worried about that. However, he's possibly up against one of two of the most informed props at the moment, and in terms of Big Steph. We've also seen a bit of a shake up in the lineup. Tupou obviously injured, so Solomon Alaimolo, the Union player come in to make his debut. We've also seen Fanua Bole there drop to the bench for Johnny Bateman to move into the middle, which gives Fainu the start there on the edge. So a little bit of a change up. But yeah, Payne Haas come back into that lineup there. That's it's a scary thing to see.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. And also you parcel in the fact that
I think you've lost your last nine straight at Campbelltown.
9 in a row at Campbelltown.
So surely we don't rack it into double digits.
10's a good time. 9's a good time to stop.
Yeah.
Before we get to 10, so that's what I'm banking for. But I think it's going to be a tough one for
Maybe
us.
if you can get to 10, you can go to the board and say, look, let's scrap this and just play all our home games at Leichhardt.
All this talk about getting rid of Leichhardt, fuck Campbelltown. Yeah, exactly. Put all the money we can into Leichhardt, turn it into our fortress. That would be great. I am still going with my Tigers. I've gone Tigers 1 to 12, and it's into Fainu actually, based off the old sort of shift around there, given the start. No, not Latu, I don't think. I want to say Samuela possibly. Yeah.
Samuel, Latu's the half.
Yeah. Yeah, I get mixed up with Samuela and Siano, but yeah, Samuela Fainu. $20.90 there, that one.
Yeah, very, very decent value. I've just gone for Lockie Galvin to cross the try line at any time. Keep it nice and simple there. $6.40 that's going to bring you.
He's a great dude, isn't he, Galvin? He's
Back yourself this week, Lockie.
Playing some good footy. I can't see why he can't cross the try line there. That's your first game for your Saturday. It leads us into what should really be a huge battle. Cowboys up against Penrith. But it's a bit of a different Cowboys team to what we're expecting to see.
Yeah, you're right. Certainly should be one of the games of the round, but the Cowboys have just fallen off a cliff lately.
Yeah, it's very weird to see, isn't it? You're not really used to seeing Cowboys play in this manner. But yeah, a huge loss up against the Sharkies there on the weekend. And what was it, 30-0 at half time? Sharkies were, hiccups, 30-0 they were up, I think it was.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous.
Absolute blowout, that game there. And I know Tony Payton said he just wanted to see the boys come out and show a bit of heart in that second half. And still coming away on the losing side there in that half too. So it should really be a huge occasion, this one here. But obviously Penrith, they had the rest. They then came up against our Tigers and sort of, they were given a game for about 60-65 minutes or so. But as I said earlier on, I think when Fisher Harris came back on, he was the man that made the difference there for Penrith. It's could have given him a little bit of that spark. But yeah, it's unfortunate to not see the Cowboys playing how we know they can, because they've got a bloody good team. Maybe this is the game up against a solid Penrith team where they know they've got to bring their all. But you've probably got to lean towards Penrith in this one.
Yeah, I think most people have to be. Just the way the Cowboys have been playing those last few weeks, they sort of showed signs in those first few rounds as they raced out to the top of the table that they were going to go back to that 2022 form. But yeah, definitely the last few weeks it's more like what we saw early days last year. So again, another one, hard to see the Cowboys being able to turn it around up against Penrith. Definitely not the ideal opposition to face when you are going through a few problems. But yeah, at home, you never know what they might conjure up when they do know they'll have to be right up for it. But yeah, I mean, I can't really see Penrith not coming away with another win in this one. The way the Cowboys have been defending, for sure.
Yeah, you probably
particularly in the kind of like flat track bullies, you want to say? Cowboys.
Yeah.
So beat the shittier sides, but when they come up against a side that's got a decent attack, they just sort of fold a bit more.
It's that little bit tougher for them. You're right. I think I'm probably leaning towards that Penrith win there. Like you said, it is hard to go past them. I think the way that they're defending, Cleary's back in the team this week, which is obviously very big for them. So it's hard to not go for Penrith in this one.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't find any value in putting my tip involving a Penrith result, so I've just gone for a couple of random try scorers. Val Holmes and Isaiah Yeo, 22.60. That's going to get you in.
Yep, I like it.
Bring you in.
It's a good looking one there. I've gone Penrith to win. No
margin involved.
Penrith to win and Taruva to score a double, and it's going to get you 6.52. But that is your Saturday. Only the two games there. It leads us in for a double header there for your Sunday. We kick off the round with the Finns up against the Knights now. Two teams on very opposite ends of the scale last weekend.
Fair to say, yep. The Dolphins on the right side of a good old-fashioned rugby league pumping over Parramatta, 44-16, and the Knights copping a bit of a shellacking of their own, 36-12 against the Doggies there. Ponga also going off injured in that one, being ruled out for a number of months off the back of it, some ligament damage in his foot. So very worrying signs for the Knights.
Yeah.
To think that they weren't going too well with Kalen Ponga involved. It's hard to see them making a good run with him on the sidelines for a couple of months. Unless they can find some of that form they found towards the end of last year, but that was sort of spearheaded by Kalen and what he was able to do. And then the Dolphins. I mean, a few young stars coming out of the cracks. Young Isaiah Katoa.
Katoa playing some good footy.
Up there in the top handful of players on that Dally M leaderboard.
Yep, the man I spoke about before, Try Fuller, coming in there to take the spot of Hammer while he's out, playing really, really well. They're playing out of their skins, the old Dolphins, but Wayne Bennett at the helm.
You wouldn't expect any less with Wayne Bennett there.
A lot of talk about possibly, I heard that on the radio, that might have been last night. Christian Wolf and him being co-coaches. I think there was a bit of talk about that, so they can keep him there.
Okay.
But yeah, they're playing some good footy, and it is at scary times for the Knights, especially if they're going to be without Ponga. So they could be in for a tough one this weekend up against Newcastle. Up against the Dolphins, sorry.
Yeah, I think so. The Dolphins, it's one at Suncorp or
Out at the old Redcliffe.
So.
At the old Redcliffe Stadium. Suncorp, yeah.
So interesting to see if we get a decent crowd in there. Yeah, I think based on last week's form, you're going to go with the Dolphins. They have been pretty up and down this year, but Newcastle seems to be mostly just down.
We saw them at the top of the table for the first time in their career. The Finns, the Knights, as you said, yeah, looking kind of more down than up. We've both gone for big Finns wins this week. I see. I've gone 13 plus. Into Bostock from the team of the week, into Plath or Plath, however you want to say it, from the team of the week, and then the man I've been speaking about there, Fuller. Those three across the try line, that's only $24.29.
Yep. Ace seems to like that one. Let out a big sigh of agreement. I've gone for a big juicy value bet in this one as well. Dolphins 13 plus. Plath's going to get himself a try as the same with yours, and I've just swapped out Bostock and Fuller and chucked in Katoa, the man I mentioned, $34.22. That's going to get you. So hoping that one can come off to push myself out into a nice early season lead.
Yeah, I'm falling off there. 0 from 8 last week. That's why I've gone for a couple of value heavy bets this week. Hopefully, trying to work my way back a little bit. Yeah, exactly. That is it's your first Sunday game. It leads you into the Raiders up against the Sharkies now. Again, two sides with very different fortunes last week. One having a big win and one sort of falling apart there. Raiders obviously big loss there to the Broncos, but we saw the Sharkies, as we said before, absolutely dominate the Cowboys.
Yep, the Sharkies are the new. Well, they might have been there last week as well.
They were there.
Table.
Still a little nice little thing to think that the only team to beat them so far is the Tigers.
Absolutely smoked them too.
So they've kind of gone. I want to say it's slightly under the radar for me in terms of maybe that's just the only reason why is because my memory of seeing them this year is them getting smashed. But they've sort of slid under the radar. They're sitting there top of the table. You kind of lean towards everything Cronulla in this one, and I've actually just seen that I've gone and picked the Raiders, which is a little bit unusual, but they definitely weren't up to their best up against Brisbane. They're going to need to try and turn that around up against the Sharkies here, or we could see Cronulla continue to lead by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, up at home Canberra in this one, so that's always good for them. They'll always relish going out and playing in front of those nuts Viking clapping Canberrians. I don't even know what you call them.
Yeah, I guess a Canberrian, a Canberran, however you want to name it. I'm not too sure. I think that's what you'd probably say, a Canberrian.
Yeah, not really too sure on that one. Maybe they just go by Raiders.
They could possibly just go by Raiders down there, the Green Machine. But they're going to have their work cut out for them.
They
at home.
definitely are up against the Cronulla side, who definitely put the Cowboys through the ringer last week. I was going to say through the runs, but it's definitely not.
No, definitely through
what they
definitely through the ringer.
Not what they did, but yeah, I mean Canberra as well. Big loss for them. Jamal Fogarty.
Going off
injured
during that game.
I think he's in crutches. I just saw on Instagram.
He has done some damage, so he's going to be out for a while. And they just pumped poor Chevy Stewart there at the back all game, and they never tried to go for the catch ever. There's so many chances where they probably would have been able to get there and contest for it. Slow down a little bit, wait till he catches it, boom, absolutely pummeled him and dropped the ball a couple of times early on, but after that he held his ground and he knew he was going to get smoked by someone and get up and play the ball and dust himself off. I like the look of him.
He definitely copped it all night, but he was brave, that's for sure. I would have been in pieces after a couple of those.
I would have been shitting myself in that situation, but I think that's possibly maybe where I've been thinking with my bet this week. I've gone Raiders 1-12 into Chevy Stewart across the try line. It's going to get you $10.50.
I like it. A little Ricky ambush. Don't see why I suppose it's not really an ambush if you're at home, but definitely an underdog victory, and Ricky's definitely not one to cop too many losses in a row before he changes things up and pulls a one out the bag. So yeah, I like it. But I'm picking Cronulla to keep that form going. A big win for them, 13 plus. Mulatalo across the stripe, and it's probably my other boring bet of the round, $3.46. But I like to think it's a banker.
Yeah, it should be a banker there. Form. Looking at it, top try scorer, and it's the top team in the ladder. So that's your Anzac round footy. It leaves the doggies with a bye. Extra 2 points after a very, very good win there up against Newcastle. I think they're going to be pretty happy to get a little week off here in this one. Enjoy the Anzac festivities and fester on that win that they had last weekend.
Yeah, they were pretty good. They've certainly shown signs of improvement this year.
No doubt.
No doubt about that. They've improved a lot. I guess it's just, I suppose those big name signings have come in, maybe not brought what they've brought as consistently as they did at their old clubs, the likes of Kikau and Burton and those fellas. But with Stephen Crichton coming in to sort of not complete the puzzle, but another key.
It's just an extra piece, I think, is what it is.
He's the captain up there. He's leading them around well. Reid Marnie seems to be discovering some very good form.
Got himself into a little bit of hot water there against Hetherington. Did you see in the tunnel?
Yeah,
Hetherington's gone after him, so we'll have to wait and see on how many weeks he ends up missing.
I think it was a week each.
Yeah, but Hetherington went after him in the tunnel.
Yeah, I think it was like, if you look at him, Hetherington's like smiling.
But he's ready to, it looks like he's ready to fisticuffs, mate. I reckon, and he's a hothead, Hetherington. He was a hothead at the Warriors. It wouldn't surprise me if he got a couple of weeks for that one. If he ends up getting more than money, I won't be surprised. But that is an extra 2 points for the Doggies. It is the bye. It does round off your week of Anzac round footy. Now, I guess we have to briefly touch on it. The round ball, even though it feels like the season is basically over. We had a loss last week to Villa, and then we come up against Bayern, and sitting there at 2-2, you're thinking maybe you're going to get away with a little bit of luck here, but not to be on the day. Losing there last Thursday to Bayern at 1-0 away at the Allianz.
Yeah.
The European dream is over for now, for this season.
I suppose in hindsight, it's not a bad effort coming back in first season, making it to the quarterfinals, getting knocked out by the likes of Bayern Munich, the slimmest of margins. On face of it, it's not too bad, but I think, it's hard to tell. Obviously, only really consuming the Premier League over the last few years, but you'd like to think if you're in the top, 2 or 3 sides in the Premier League, you're probably just about, apart from the likes of Real Madrid, PSG and Bayern, you probably think that you'd be in the top 4 or 5 in Europe, but not to be. We don't make that Final Four the way the draw falls. And I guess Bayern, definitely not their best team over the last few years.
No, not at all, which is why it's hard to take. You've seen...
But it's also different because I think if they played like they did against us over the 2 leagues, they probably wouldn't have gone as bad in the German league. I haven't really seen.
It's very hard.
You can't really say that for sure, but
you're up against
the commentators and the pundits seem to be insinuating.
They haven't lost since the last game in 2023 season, Leverkusen.
Exactly, which is crazy stuff.
Up against Bochum to keep Bochum up, and it was a goal and an assist from Takuma Asano and a 2-0 loss. That game there, which kept Bochum up in the league. So I saw that today. You can't go past Leverkusen, but it's hard to take either way, especially with a Yed scoring against us in that first leg, and one of our own, and Serge Gnabry, who could have just been immense if he'd been played by Tony Pulis at Wolves.
West Brom.
West Brom. If he'd been played at West Brom, we might have seen a different Gnabry. We might have held on to him, but
I think he had attitude problems.
He had a bit of an ego going down to the Hawthorns. I do know that, but what could have been, I guess, is the way you look at it. But we were after a bounce back, and a bounce back is exactly what we got up against Wolves. A goal either half there. Odegaard and Trossard, your 2 goal scorers, and a 2-0 win.
Yep, scoring in the final couple of minutes of each half, which I suppose good things you are made to wait for sometimes. It was a good performance overall. Our 9th or 8th clean sheet away on the bounce.
I think it's 6.
Oh, 6.
6.
And I think the previous record might have been 4.
Yeah, something like that. Raya's running away.
Maybe it's 8th or 9th this season.
Running away with the Golden Glove there. I think he's got 13 clean sheets. And we're managing to defend very, very well.
Away from home.
A couple of little blips, which have been unfortunate, but you take a win. Wolves are a tricky
second top of the table, seeing as City haven't played yet.
Yep, correct. Are sitting top of the table. Obviously, we then are going to jump a further game ahead tomorrow morning, but it is top of the table after that game. It's a tough one coming up against a team like Wolves, but we take the 3 points. We take a 2-0 win, and it does leave us in good stead for that game I said we've got tomorrow up against Chelsea at home, I want to say.
I believe so.
I don't think we're off
I
to
think
the
we went and
Bridge.
drew to all at the Bridge earlier this year.
So we take that. A game at home tomorrow, 7 a.m. kickoff our time. A couple of London derbies back to back, but we start with Chelsea, who I believe, I've seen something earlier, maybe without Cole Palmer,
thank God.
which would be immense.
That would be awesome.
Because he is Chelsea at the moment, really.
Yeah, I was going to say, they have been playing well. Not really they, just sort of him.
Just him, scoring lots of goals.
21 for the season?
Yeah, ideally we don't give away any penalties because we know that he's going to score those. I think he's got the most penalty goals scored in the season this year, and I don't think he's missed one. We obviously saw last week, score was sitting there at 4-0, and Jackson and I don't know who it was, Jackson and Madueke both wanted to take the pen. And he went up there, I think he'd already scored 3, and he was kind of like, well, I'm the penalty taker, it doesn't matter that it's 4-0, I'm taking the pen. To do that in his first proper year as a footballer, good on him.
Well, if Madueke and Jackson want the penalty, come and take one when it's 0-0 or you're 1-0 down.
Or score a goal in bloody normal time, if they want to show how they can finish. But
also don't come and take one when there's no pressure.
Well, exactly. It's one of those games, the way that Chelsea have played, we shouldn't be dropping points in this one.
I don't think so.
But it's Chelsea. So you've got that sort of history there with Chelsea. We've lost to them plenty of times over the years. We've seen Drogba go out there and score plenty of goals. Wenger not able to take out Mourinho there back in the day. And so it's going to be tough, but it's our first of 2 London derbies in a row.
It's a big week.
Yeah, it is a big week. Chelsea tomorrow, and then we get into Spurs Monday morning. First day back at school, end of school holidays. It's a 1 a.m. kickoff, so it's like you're very, very tempted to sort of stay up. Not really doable, I don't think. Not first day back. We've got a whakatau, so I've got to be there, set up for that in the morning. Welcome all the new whānau to the school, I don't know if you can pull a sickie first day of term. That's a bit now. It'd have to be locking in that sickie maybe like Saturday evening, like, hey, I've got the runs, mate, I may not be in there, but it's a huge game, this one. We obviously saw Villa sort of break our hearts there. Last thing we need now is for them to fall off. Spurs go out there and break our hearts and take 4th place. Especially now after the fact that with neither us or City being able to win it, just the top 4 will get Champions League footy, I believe.
Quite possibly. I think there was also something with a 5th place coefficient, but it's hard to see anything getting.
A lot of what could happen though is if Villa were to finish 5th, if they finish 4th and make champions, they could win the Conference League, which would qualify them for the Europa League. But then if they finish 4th and they take the Champions League, so another Europa League spot may be brought up, is what I've seen. But it's a big week, as you said. 2 huge games to get into, 2 London derbies, and fingers crossed, 2 Arsenal wins. And that's probably it for the roundball. There has been actually plenty of darts on over the weekend. We're no King of the Oki Richard just yet, unfortunately. The Asp coming away with the win there, night 13, beating Michael Smith there in the final. Back into a little bit of Premier League action this Friday. I haven't given you my winners there, I see. But we've gone for Littler to get German Price. We've gone for Humphreys to take out the Asp, MVG to take out Peter Wright, and Michael Smith to take out Rob Cross. No one paying more than $4 up. $4.20, there you go, Luke Littler. $1,263 return of a $10 bet. So ideally that one can come off. We did have a little bit of European tour action over the weekend though, and we saw Gary Anderson lifted his first European Tour title in over 10 years. Last one was in 2014. Taking out the, I want to say the European Darts Grand Prix, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
Back in Germany. And a very, very good final. Probably like, I didn't see too much of it this weekend, unfortunately. Saw a couple of the early round games, but not much of the final games. I know there was a really big match, Humphreys up against Littler, which looked like it would have been good to see. Humphreys getting his first win since the final. But they're off to Austria this weekend for the Austrian Darts Open after the Premier League there. A couple more weeks ago, and I think it's that Baltic Nordic Open where we're going to get to see Hopes up against everyone else. So I look forward to seeing that. But
there's a bit of local action as well. I don't know if it was New Zealand.
There was I want to say the North Islands over the weekend. Ben Robb beating Johnny Tata in the final, and Nicole Renegade Renault winning the women's there. A couple more rankings points for Ben Robb. Obviously, kind of head and shoulders now the player that's going to win there with Hopes having his tour card. It does open up a little bit of room for Caden Milne sort of take that second spot. But I think we'll probably see Ben Robb joining Hopes there at the World Cup at the end of the year. It's probably us for another week. As always, if you've made it this far, thank you for listening, thank you for tuning in. Remember to give us a like, 5-star, a comment, get involved in all your socials. Enjoy your week ahead, enjoy your Anzac Day coming Thursday, enjoy all the sport you can get yourself involved with this week. If you're having a punt, do so responsibly, and hopefully we'll see you here next week.
Yeah, Anzac Day footy, how good. Go the Dragons. We'll see you next week.
Marshall skips away, Marshall's still going, Marshall's got Richards coming up outside, now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now world test champions.